Welcome to Milestone Moments, the show where we explore the journeys that lead to success. I'm Sheila Slick, your host and founder of 5 Milestones. In every episode, we will bring you insights from the minds of entrepreneurs, leaders, and experts who will share not just their expertise, but the milestone moments that have reshaped their journeys and led to significant achievements. So if you're looking for motivation, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and discover the milestones that mark the path to success. Welcome to another episode of Milestone Moments in Business and Leadership. I'm Sheila Slick, your host, and today my special guest is Dr. Letitia Wright. Dr. Wright is the executive producer and host of Right Place TV. A former chiropractor, Dr. Wright transitioned into the media world over 22 years ago. Right Place TV is in its 25th season with a bandwidth spanning over 6.5 million homes throughout Southern California and beyond. In addition to her media work, she is a top 100 crowdfunding expert in the United States, focusing on putting funding and money into the hands of women and minority-owned businesses. Welcome to the show, Dr. Wright.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk with you today and hopefully share some things with your audience to help them think differently about what they want to do and where they want to go.
I'd love to start today's conversation by asking you about this transition. You went from chiropractor to media producer and helping minority-owned women businesses secure funding. Can you tell me a little bit about the transition and what you do today?
I can. I think of myself sort of as the princess of pivot. I love looking back over my life. I've made all of these pivots that have just really built on top of themselves and been able to really broaden my horizon and broaden who I can help. So yes, I am a chiropractic physician. I have said I'm going to be a doctor since I was 3 years old. I've been telling people that I'm going to be a doctor. My mother worked for a chiropractor when I was about 11, 12. And I would sit in the lobby and do my homework after school, waiting for her to get out from work. And I would see people walk into the office and they're all bent over in pain, and they would walk out and they would be like instantly better. And that just really intrigued me. And it made me feel like I want to be a chiropractor. And so, I pursued it and boom, graduate. Here I am. Not boom, but, graduate. Here I am. And I became a chiropractor. The challenge was that I did not have a mentor for the business part of my practice. And so I struggled. I struggled financially. I just struggled. And it was really beating me down. I reached out to other physicians who have been in business and asked them directly for mentorship. And one person said, well, you have kids, go home and be with your kids. One person said, your practice is too close to mine. I'm not going to help you. I literally couldn't get any help. And this is before there was SBTV, before there were books, before all of this kind of stuff was available. And I went to a practice management company and I applied for them to help me with the practice. And so I waited for them to call and, tell me when they were coming in. And I got a call and they called me up and they said, hey, Dr. Wright, we got your application for, practice management. And what they do is they come into the office, look at what's not going right, tell you how to get things going so that you're thriving as a practice. And they said, yeah, we got your application, but you know what, Dr. Wright, you don't make enough money to be one of our clients. I was devastated. I didn't have anybody else to give me any help with this. At the same time, that last year I was in practice, I'd been a guest on someone else's TV show locally. And I thought, wow, this is really, really great. And I did a good job explaining what I do as a physician and just, my hair looked good. I had on this pretty peach suit. I mean, it was just like boom, boom, boom. And so I went back to the station and said, how did this guy get a show? Like, how does this work? And back at that time, cable companies had a mandate that they had to let the community have their own channels. Since they were coming into the community, they had to give back like that. And so I learned how to produce my own show. I spent a year volunteering on other people's shows and just learning everything. So I know how to direct, I know how to do sound, I know how to be the assistant director. I know how to run a camera. I know how to run lighting. I know how to set up a set. All of those things I learned how to do. So when I'm sitting in the seat in the studio, I'm not rushing them and come on, let's go. No, I know what they're doing. I know what's going on around me to have to make the next thing happen. And so, I was a kind of a crew favorite because, I always brought them food. A lot of times people on the shows would bring me gifts or they would be promoting their things. I always gave them to my crew. Like, to work with me, they knew they were going to get something. And so the show grew and grew. We were on DirecTV for a couple of years. It just really expanded across the country. And I've been doing it ever since. Now, today, we're on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV, so people can subscribe for free, download it, and see all kinds of shows and other people's shows. But Right Place TV is now a whole channel. I continue that. So that is how I kind of transitioned to TV. I wanted to interview business people who were successful because I needed that information. And I knew if I needed that, other people needed that too. The show just has been thriving ever since. And in 2010, I met someone who had this cool comic called A Pug Named Fender. And it was based on a real dog, and his real dog passed away. And sort of as a cathartic thing, he decided to turn all the episodes into a book. And he did it with crowdfunding. And I got to watch his crowdfunding up close. And I was like, this is what entrepreneurs need during this time when they are having difficulty getting loans and everything. So I knew crowdfunding was it. I started studying it and I asked 10 of my business friends, would they let me crowdfund for them? They didn't really know what it was, but they just trusted me. 6 went really well. 4 of them blew up and burnt down so bad you can still see the smoke from here. So it is, like I learned hands-on. Then I started teaching for the Los Angeles Small Business Administration, the Las Vegas Small Business Administration. I started traveling around and now I travel around the world for an accelerated business school. They go to different countries. This year it'll be in Thailand and I teach crowdfunding for business people. Women have a hard time getting funding. It's not just a mindset thing. It is really how things are set up. It was only in 1972 that a woman could even get a credit card or a bank account without her father or her husband saying she could have one. So, women being autonomous in business and in the money world is still pretty new. And so making sure that the system isn't set against you, crowdfunding can go outside of the system. It is about community. Women are great at building communities and supporting communities. We are the best. And women can use their community to support them financially to their next step. And so I get a lot of joy out of teaching that.
I love everything you just shared. Since it was with the SBA, I served as a certified SCORE mentor and then chapter chair for our counties. We have 2 counties, and I absolutely loved when I would mentor women. And I know firsthand the challenge of funding. Where do I begin? I do want to talk about the money because I'd love to hear your insights, but I am so intrigued about the channel. I have a few questions regarding that. Number one,
Absolutely.
the channel is available today. If I tune in, what am I watching? Am I watching Entrepreneurship 101, like a Shark Tank?
No, not a Shark Tank. You're watching a couple of different shows. Right Place TV is me interviewing business people about their journey, very similar to how your show is. And so you can get some insights and some information. We also have some shows on a section called Yoga Baki that are about health. We have health practitioners that are talking about getting your health together. We have people who have shows on getting your mindset together and making sure mentally you're ready for that game. That That is the thing that comes first. That comes before money and before everything else. Because if you have the wrong mindset, you're going to come into it wrong. For example, with crowdfunding for business, it's very different than crowdfunding for a personal issue. And so a lot of people set up a crowdfunding that it's like for their business, for like, if you help me do this, you'll be helping my dream come true. Well, nobody cares about your dream, honey. Not one person. But if you are pre-selling an item, you can get this little squeezy heart right now, and this is what it is. And you're pre-selling, or you're selling shares of your companies. My squeezy heart is going to be the squeeziest, heartiest thing in the world. It's going to make millions of dollars. Buy shares in my company and we'll all grow together, and people are able to make money. So people have to remember, with crowdfunding for business, it's not about somebody helping you or donating money or giving you money. It is really about a partnership between you and them to help your company grow. They are getting something and you are getting money.
It's a win-win situation for both. So now I'm Generation X, right? So when I think TV or the big screen, I'm thinking like these major national networks, these giant.
And things have changed. All of them are going digital. Everything is digital. So I want you to think digital. So that brings it down to your level now. You can start off new. Everybody had no followers at first. The first day Disney Channel was on TV, there was nobody watching it. Now, of course, they grew quickly because they are a legacy company and they are loved by generation after generation after generation. So they were able to grow quickly. They've been around longer than both of us, right? They've been around for a long, long time. But you, as a podcaster, can put your show on your own channel, which allows you, and this is why you would want to do it as opposed to just being on Apple or Spotify or somewhere else. You have complete control over how much money you make. You have complete control over bringing in sponsors and keeping that money together. You have complete control over your distribution. You can promote yourself as much as possible. When you send me to Apple or Spotify to look at your podcast, I'm not going to just find your podcast. I'm going to find everybody else's podcast. But if you sent me to your Roku channel to watch your podcast, or you sent me to your Apple TV or Amazon Fire TV, and there's a difference between Amazon Fire and Amazon TV. You get to control all that, and you get to send me just to your channel. There's not all these other distractions. They're not social media. They are media, and there's a difference. YouTube is still social media. That's why YouTube has all these other distractions and commercials and come and look at this and come and look at that. Nothing wrong with YouTube. It's a great way for people to find you, and it's a great directory. But in terms of making your money and being in control of your future, there's nothing like having your own channel. And so that is something that you can reach for right now. You do have to build it. You do have to, market it, and you do have to be in total control of it in a way that a lot of people don't want to. They want to be the star, and they want to be the star of the show, but everything it takes to create that star, they don't want to have anything to do with. And unless you can pay other people to do that, you've got to do it yourself. And so it is an amazing opportunity for anyone, because the control is your control.
So since you have an entire channel, are you always accepting new shows? What does that process look like?
It is. I am accepting new shows because I'm always looking at being able to promote people that are doing good things in the world and getting the distribution out there. It is about contacting me and pitching me. And I usually dig into what is your revenue plan for your show, because when people come to me and they don't have their own revenue plan in mind, it makes it very difficult to help them make money. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm on your channel, I'm supposed to help them make money. So I do want to work with people who are very hands-on with their own show, understanding that they can really make a difference when they take control of it.
So is it like a profit, like a partnership, like you share revenue or you share profit?
I have a couple of different plans. And so What I like to do is I like to give people flat fees so that they can create revenue at the level that they want to create. I tend to be the person that this is my fee, and whether you bring in $10,000 or $10 million worth of sponsorships, you still have the same fees with me because that gives everybody a chance to make a profit. When you're constantly revenue sharing, it's hard to get ahead and actually make a profit because you've got to split off that money, and then you've got bills, and then like you can never get ahead. It's sort of like you owe your soul to the company store. So I like to do it a little bit differently. People say I'm leaving a lot of money on the table, but I see myself as a queen maker. I'd love to see you get in there, make a lot of money, and be very, very comfortable because now you can really give back to the community, live a great life yourself, and it's not the struggle bus.
And what you're offering too gives the person control of, their show and making the money off the show. So it's not just a rented platform where you say, okay, I'm going to just, turn you off. I'm sure there's some sort of agreement where you need to meet
Yes.
certain requisites and stuff, but it gives you control. It's not necessarily a rented platform, which is exactly what social media is. You lose that sense of control when you are on social media, right? And sometimes people put too much emphasis on building their business around social media. We just saw what happened with the TikTok shutdown.
And
You
it
know,
still may be shut down again. So we have to remember those are rented platforms. I have a huge platform on TikTok, but guess what? Not all of those people are on my email list. So if it does go away 20, 30 days or whatever the deadline is, I don't even keep track of that because I literally don't care. I'm on social media. I post, I see which ones are getting the most traction, and I put the most energy into it, and we go from there. It's one place to meet people. It's not the only place. And so I'm not devastated, and I don't own those. So if they go away, there's nothing I can say about it. I have no ownership in there. If they change the rules and they now say you got to have 2 million pixels instead of 50 pixels, or we're not going to print your or put your stuff up, you have no control over that. You have no control over updates. With my TV channel, I have a team that anytime there are updates, boom, they are on it. They're an amazing team. I check the channels every day. I check my clients' channels. And, sometimes there's an update. Roku is not good about giving you, Roku is good about telling you they're going to have an update. They give you emails. Hey, it's going to be an update. Apple's updates are so smooth. It's like they just update and there's just never a problem. It's like, yeah, we updated, but your channel isn't broken down and you know what I mean? There's nothing there. But Amazon, every once in a while, they're not as great about giving you the updates. And you go check on an Amazon Fire TV channel and it'll be broken. Well, I check them every morning for my clients, and then I'm able to get my team on it, and my team is just great. Behind the scenes, they'll go in there and fix it before the clients even know there's a problem. So, that's the other thing you get with working with me is you do have the tech backup, because again, if you have your own channel, then this is something that you also have to make sure you keep up with that. We have the tech background to help clients with that. And then if you're on Right Place TV channel, you don't have to worry about it. And we give people unlimited uploads. So it's not like you can only upload 4 shows a week or whatever. I give unlimited uploads because I am a producer myself. I know what it's like. And if people haven't seen it, it's new to them. There's nothing wrong with uploading a show that's a little bit old if nobody has seen it. If you put it on YouTube and it only got 3 views, nobody has seen it. So promote it again, share it again. And so we allow clients to have unlimited uploads with what they're doing. It's digital. Yes, I host clients content for them. So once I have it, they don't have to worry about storing it or anything like that. I, pay for the storage, and life is good like that.
well, thank you so much for sharing those insights. It brings in a lot of possibility to those wanting to make an impact or start a channel. I know that when I jumped into podcasting, it was like, oh, this is like having your own radio station. And I've enjoyed it so much. This is season 2. So thank you for opening up that new possibility that wouldn't have been something that yesterday alone I would have really contemplated.
Yes, it's a great opportunity. And again, the opportunity for you to create revenue that belongs to you.
So now we can talk about the funding. Your work also focuses on directing funding to women and minority owned businesses. What patterns have you observed in how women in general approach financial empowerment? And if we talk about mindset, what have you found to be the most impactful?
Here's the thing with women, we are really great at community. And so the way I get funds into women's hands is crowdfunding, which is really bringing your community together to support you. Or if your community is very small, partnering with somebody, I can partner with you and say, hey, girl, this is what I'm doing. I'm building the Hearty Hearts. Can you, on my behalf, reach out to your community and let them know that we've got the Hearty Hearts ready and they can buy them now? So community does not have to be your own community, but you do have to have a community to go to with crowdfunding. It's not put it up there and they will come and you just try to figure out who you can sell to. That's not what we're doing. We're doing pre-sales or we're selling shares of our company. Okay. And of course, if you're a nonprofit, then it's donations. If you're not a nonprofit, it is not about getting donations for your business because nobody wants to donate for your business. So, me really just reminding women where their strength is. Your strength is your community. We build communities. We can build a community all by ourselves. We have babies and we make our own community right in our own houses. And so, we are very, very good at building community. And so it's about remembering, especially the older you get, all those Girl Scout cookies you purchased from the little girl down the street and all the, tickets and fair things and just all the stuff that you have done to build community over the years. Crowdfunding is about reaching back and saying, hey, I now have a project and I would love for you to participate in it. And it allows people to participate at whatever level they're at. So grandma can give you $25 because that's what she has. And someone else can invest $10,000 because that's what they have. And so you allow people to come in at the level that they want to come in at, work and support you and create whatever the project is. We can save lives. We can create new businesses. We can create makeup. We can do all kinds of things, bring them to market and not have to worry about credit checks. And are we getting a loan? And are we doing this and that? The other thing is with crowdfunding, you can crowdfund and do other things. So I'm trying to get women's mindset to be wider. It's not this or that. It's this and that. You can crowdfund and you can get a grant and you can get a loan and you can do all of that. Crowdfunding does not knock out anything else. That's what I love about it. It allows you to do all of the things you need to do to bring your tribe together, to bring the finances together and create something that makes the world better. Most women, even if they're not a certified B corporation, their businesses are somehow improving the world. There are very few businesses that women put together that are just vanity fun businesses. Even if they're fun, they are doing good in the world. And so I love supporting women because there's a residual of good coming out of their business. They're not just making money and feeding themselves, but they're giving back to their communities and they're supporting the things that they find important.
I love that. So I do have another question for you. Drawing from this extensive experience as a TV producer and host for over 2 decades, how do you think women entrepreneurs can better leverage their media opportunities? Or even if they're not entrepreneurs, we all have that personal brand. What opportunities or industry insights are we all overlooking that could help us grow?
Well, I think for one thing, I am really blessed to have a great publicist. And she really, she's established in the business. She has connections. That's the biggest thing that you need in looking for a publicist. Do they actually have connections? Can they actually make some things happen? And I think that is a big strategy for me because I can work on my business, not spending time combing through and looking for how to get on different shows. Yes, you can promote yourself. Nothing wrong with that. I've done that. I've written my own press releases. I've learned how to do that. But there gets to a point where you are growing and you need someone else to take over that. You need someone else who that's actually their profession to take over that and get you opportunities to be seen where you yourself may not be able to make that connection. And so I think that's one thing, is that relying on yourself, it's time to bring in help. I've been doing this thing about the pivot and telling women to, stop all this building in silence, and build in silence and then come back strong. You can't build in silence. You have to build in community. You have to connect with people. I have to call you and say, "Hey girl, thank you so much for having me on the show. I have this going on. Could I come back on? Can you fit me on?" Like, there has to be relationships. It doesn't just happen just you by yourself. And so we need to stop all this. If you build in silence, they won't know how to attack you. If you build within the right community, you've got people to protect you, because we know each other now. So if somebody comes to you and says, Dr. Wright is da, 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 you know something about me. You kind of know, that doesn't sound right. That's not my experience. Versus, oh, okay, I'm gonna spread that around too. You see what I'm saying? You can have a community that protects you when you're in with people who don't mind that you are successful. And that is the key thing. The other thing is making sure your people that are surrounding you are really your friends, are really okay with you being successful. As soon as they're not there, you have to let that person go. I had a camera person that he worked with me a lot, and we were in the car driving somewhere to something, and I was sharing with him what the big vision is. And I said, "What do you think about that? Do you think it's something that I can do?" And he said, "Nah, I mean, it's nice to have a dream, but he basically just said, 'Hey, I'm just here because you're paying me, and I don't really think anything of what you're talking about is ever going to happen.'" I never worked with him again. Why? Not because I didn't need his talent, not because I didn't need, but that overpowered it. When you're with somebody who thinks you're unsuccessful or thinks you're never going to be successful, that is not good for you. And we as women, we just say, well, they've got other good qualities. They can do this, they can do that. That is the number one quality. You have to be around people who want to see you successful, who believe that you can be successful. They may not know how to help you. A lot of times we have people who are supporting us, our moms and stuff. They're like, "We believe in you." They have no clue how to help you. But that is more powerful and impactful for you than somebody who knows how to help you be successful, but don't believe that you have it. So when it comes to media, getting out there and getting a professional to help you, I think that is the biggest thing. Because you know what? I don't have to get up every day and figure that part out. I get up in the morning, I get a text from her saying, "Hey, you're going to be on Miss Slick show and this is that." And I'm like, "Yeah," So investing in yourself in that way, maybe if you have a small budget, get what you can afford and then grow to a bigger publicist as you grow. But I think that a lot of times we will not bring in the professionals that we need for certain things. You can be a solopreneur, but you still need to work with some other professionals. I hope that kind of answered the question.
It was fabulous. And I loved when you shared the example, because I'm the kind of person that thinks you only need one person, to believe in you, and it can make all the difference. When I was 36 years old, I was a retail jeweler in my family business.
Oh.
And that's when the iPod Touch came out, which doesn't even exist anymore, right? This is what preceded the iPhone. But when that little thing came out, and I couldn't figure out what the gadget was. But long story short, I turned on the news and was seeing an interview of a 13-year-old boy saying he had built an entire game, gave it away for free, and had 1 million downloads. And so I thought, wait a minute, this is the future. And if he could have done it, so could I. And it just took one person to believe that I could, and I learned how to code. It actually ended up in my third business, a software development company. And so I guess because of that, I love sharing stories, because one person's story can create the momentum for you to take action. And two, by having just one person that believes in you, even if you fail, you learn, but that's like the motor that'll, continue driving that momentum and be there to celebrate your win, no matter how small.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what is your next milestone?
My next milestone is kind of two prong, and it's going into my philanthropy stage. And I'm moving into a phase where I'm working with women's organizations and just saying, hey, would you like to start a crowdfunding project for a nonprofit in this area? This is what I work in. I'd love to show you guys how this works and organize their entire organization to do something good in an area that they'd like to do it. And so I'm moving more and more towards philanthropy in that area. I work with Stand Up for Kids, which is a nationwide nonprofit that helps get kids off the street. Children in homelessness look completely different than adults. You don't see kids out on the street. You don't see kids because they are couch surfing. They are hidden. They are, unfortunately trading sex for a place to stay sometimes. There's a lot of other complicated things. And so Stand Up for Kids is one of the national organizations that helps get kids off the street. Los Angeles Youth Emerging Stronger. They are the largest kind of foster care for teens. They bring teens in off the street. They help them work. They save their money for them. So by the time they leave, they're 21, 22, 23, and they're leaving. They can actually leave with a chunk of money, move into a place, and have a springboard. So those are the kinds of things I support. I also support a pastor in Pasadena that has a food truck. He's been feeding people every week for years. And what it is that the adults, elderly adults, he has a list of them where they actually deliver the boxes of food to them because they can't come out and they couldn't lift the box of food if they even could drive out to get it. And so he's been doing that for years. I'm working on a campaign to raise money for him. That is really my next phase. And so I am looking for women's organizations who want to do projects. They don't know what crowdfunding is. I can help them with that process and really create some good in the world.
Full of purpose. I love that. Well, thank you, Dr. Wright, for sharing your remarkable journey and these wonderful insights with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great to meet you. And I hope your audience is inspired to do. Don't just listen to the shows, or all of the shows are good, but let one of these shows inspire you to move forward on your own dreams.
Absolutely. So, as we close this episode of Milestone Moments in Business and Leadership, I hope that you all feel inspired to embrace your own transitions, transformations with the same courage and vision or that we discussed today. And remember that every milestone is an opportunity for growth. I will leave Dr. Wright's contact details in the description for those looking forward to connecting with her. Until next time, keep leading, keep evolving, and keep creating those milestone moments in your life and business.